Mm. What up, everybody? YouTube Live, how's it going? I'm back from San Diego Comic Con 2019. I'll be posting more of the videos from the press rooms as the next few days to come. For the next few days to come, as I'm recuperating from the exhaustion that is Comic Con. Holy crap! I always lose sleep, man, every July. Because prepping for Comic Con and during Comic Con is just going from one press room to the next, running around, sweaty because it's hot too as well. Oh, okay. So, all right. So right now I'm talking about Big Little Lies season 2 finale that aired this evening tonight on HBO. Oh, I forgot to charge my MacBook here. I think yeah, we have enough battery. We have enough juice. Okay, so the title is I Want to Know, have you ever seen the rain? The title is I Want to Know, appropriately said, because in this episode, in a nutshell, Mary Louise wants to know, and Celeste also wants to know, and we, the audience, get to know. All right, so of course it's courtroom drama, and let me start by saying, guess who predicted it correctly, 100% right? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I humbly accept this honor. What are you talking about, Rama? What you talking about, Willis? Well, remember last week I mentioned to you I said I think one or two things might happen in the season finale, courtroom drama, when Celeste represents herself and questions Mary Louise. And one of the things I mentioned to you is that I bet you that Celeste is gonna try to make Mary Louise accept the reality that Mary Louise's son, her son, Perry, um, was an abuser. Remember, I told you that all this time, Mary Louise tried to rationalize, like, oh, that can't be Perry. No, Perry would not do that. I mean, what? Maybe maybe he got a little bit too rough on Jane. Doesn't mean that he actually raped her. Or maybe she kind of tempted him. Rationalizing, trying to come up with some possible theories to meet her conclusion in the head that says that no, my son is good. So I mentioned to you that last week. I mentioned to you last week that in the season finale, when because Celeste says, "Hey, Your Honor, you've been pretty much interrogating me. You're questioning my character. Doing a character assassination." And I was all glad to take the hit. Now let me do the same for her, to her, because if Mary Louise claims that she will be the better caretaker for my sons, should she not also be under examination like I was? So that was a fair point. So, and I mentioned to you again that what or Celeste's goal, what Celeste's objective, or what she tried to at least get Mary Louise to admit, is that Perry was not a saint. And that's exactly what happened tonight. Usually when I do predictions, I don't always get it right. Sometimes maybe I want to say 65%, give or take. I don't have the best track record. So so whenever, the few times that I do get it right, forgive me if I try to bask in that glory. um so tonight's episode, Celeste shows the video that her and Perry's son, we don't know which one of the two sons that took the video, but one of the two sons took video of Perry beating Celeste. All right. It's like freaking, candid camera style. And yeah, she showed the video, Exhibit A, in the courtroom, and you can tell that that whole defense that Mary Louise has, whatever guard she has, she has that guard up. It just like it crumbles like the walls of Jericho. It's like, no, no, stop it, stop it, stop it. That can't be him. By the way, it's don't you think it's a little convenient? Don't you think it's a little bit too convenient that the video all of a sudden just surfaced in the season finale? It's like just pop up like, whoa, where was that before? Um, Another thing that's also convenient, just a quick side note, the one of the earlier scenes in tonight's episode, Renata is pretty much yelling. Not well, see, yeah, she's upset at this barista at the Starbucks coffee because I want to say understandably so, because the barista keeps like asking her like, "Hey, what about this? Do you want more sugar with it or more cream with it?" To that effect. I forget what the specific is. And she's like, "Just do you need me to go back there and make my own coffee for me?" We've all had that moment, right? I just had that moment. Like I think today I was at Starbucks. I ordered something, and I kid you not, the barista, keeps asking me, like, keeps like, "What? Are you sure you don't want that warmed up, or you really?" It's like, and in my head, it's like, "Dude, just give me my shit." You know, but of course, I didn't say that. I just try to be calm. Like, yeah, yeah, I'm okay. I'm in a hurry. I gotta go back to Comic Con. Thank you, though. I appreciate the concern. So but Renata is not that kind of person. Renata is like, will tell you what's in her heart, and what's in her heart at that time is that she's pissed. Um, so and then immediately out of the blue, Mary Louise shows up. The last time Mary Louise shows up was, of course, showed up was inside Renata's home with no furnitures around. And then you remember that Mary Louise did her usual Mary Louise in that she complimented while insulting at the same time. That's how she condescends. That's what makes Mary Louise spicy. And so she did something similar, not quite, but something almost like it really rubs Renata the wrong way, and of course Renata pushes back in this scene in the Starbucks. And so my point is to that is that, oh my god, I did not know that Monterey is such a small town. Either like, what is there only one Starbucks the entire like what are the odds that they have to encounter each other again? Either that, or Mary Louise actually intentionally tries to confront Renata again for whatever reason. But that just cracks me up. I was like, really, isn't there like another Starbucks a couple of blocks down the road that you could just go there? Mary Louise, like, you got to go to where Renata is, and Renata's obviously not in a good mood. But anyway, back to the courtroom. Yeah, that's what happened. Celeste got Mary Louise to admit that Perry is, well, she didn't admit it like in that particular moment. You know, the second time, or the next time when she after the evening where she actually came back to freaking Celeste's home again, and it's like, "Hey, why'd you lie about me?" So then the next day he's like, and then she admitted, like, "Hey, I had no idea. I had no idea that my son was like that." That's when she actually admitted it. um so yeah, um we knew that was coming. At least I did, I mean. And about the verdict, let's talk about that. The decision of the judge, who, by the way, is the same judge from the series Blacklist. I remember that judge in a courtroom with Raymond Reddington, but that's another topic for another time. I guess the actress has that judgy kind of look, authoritative kind of look, so she always gets cast as a judge. But anyway, I think you and I can agree that we're satisfied with the verdict, right? I mean, I mentioned to one of you last week. It's like, hey, what do you expect the season finale to be, or like, what do you expect to happen? I mentioned to you that I think there will be some curveball, something unexpected, maybe even to set up for potential season three. But no, at least at least with regarding to the verdict itself, I'm happy for Celeste, but it's far from what you would categorize as curveballs or unexpected turn. Um, I want to also comment real quick on that one moment, juxtaposing um, Celeste's kids hugging their grandma, Mary Louise, and at the same time, Bonnie hugging her loved ones and family members because of her mom's second stroke and eventual passing. That moment, that scene, spliced, kind of side by side, that really got me right here in the heart. I thought that was very, very emotionally powerful, and I'll tell you why. Because we we all have our problems with our loved ones, right? Just like how Maddie, how Maddie said to Celeste in tonight's episode when they're in the car. Maddie said, "Hey, nobody's perfect. You may not be the perfect mother, but you're a good mother." It's like nobody's perfect. Just like what's his name? Douglas Smith's character, the one that Jane's current boyfriend, or the one that Jane, sort of tries to decide whether or not she wants him to be her boyfriend. Well, anyway, in tonight's episode, he also tells Jane, it's like, perfect. What's perfect? There's no such thing as perfect. You know, even the best will find some. Will have even the best has better. You know, good may not be really good or actually good. Thanks a lot there, freaking Aristotle, Socrates. Very deep there, very profound. But they do have a point. I mean, like, both Maddie and Douglas Smith's character. Oh crap, I can't remember the boyfriend's name. I'll look him up real soon. Sorry, this is the downside of doing this live. Sometimes I don't have the name either in my head or on the screen here on my notes. So anyway, but they do have a point, both those characters, right? So when Celeste's sons, it's like Celeste tells her son, "Hey, I need you to do something for me. Go hug your grandma." And that was a sweet moment, right? And juxtaposing, of course, at the same time, um, with Bonnie hugging everybody inside the hospital room. You know, maybe after they say goodbye to Bonnie's mom. Why those two are heartfelt, those two moments side by side are heartfelt, is because, again, nobody's perfect. You We have our problems with our family members. We bicker, we argue, we sometimes raise our voices. I know I've done that to my parents, and vice versa, and my two little sisters, and them too, yelling at me and whatever. We sometimes we get angry at them, or like we don't want to see their faces for the next few days, what have you. But they're family, right? So you may say, man, Mary Louise is terrible for trying to take Celeste's sons away from their own mom. How could she? What kind of a grandmother? You can make that argument, and that would be a valid argument. But that's at the same time, another, another thing that's also valid is that, hey, the concern, for the well-being of this, for well-being of Celeste's kids, those two kids, come from a right place. You know, whether or not Mary Louise would be the better care would be the better caretaker as opposed to Celeste, that would be probably be an ongoing debate that's gonna go beyond this verdict amongst the audiences. But as far as the essence goes, we still we still love our siblings, we still love our parents. You know, that's how we that's how we mend relationship. Because imagine if Celeste doesn't tell her sons to go hug their grandma. If that moment never happens, that's it. I think they're gonna grow up, maybe not having a relationship with their grandma. Those kids, and maybe Mary Louise might even leave town, and that'll be, that family will be essentially broken. You know, the same with Bonnie. Bonnie's mom, although I don't know, I'm really reluctant to call her abusive, but she was really really hard on Bonnie when she was growing up as a kid. You know, as those flashbacks indicated in the previous episodes. And in previous episodes, freaking Bonnie had that letter like, "I resent you, I resent you, I resent you, mom, I resent you." But deep down, she knows that like she gotta love her. She gotta love her. That's why it's funny that moment in tonight's episode where you you think that she's gonna like smother her with the pillow, to death. And then the dad comes back as he forgets the keys, and I was like, "Holy crap! Oh no, he's gonna catch Bonnie in the act!" No, but no, something sweet instead happens, which is Bonnie sleeps next to her mom. It goes to show that human emotions, especially what we have for our blood, our sibling, our family, it's complicated. It's so complicated. We I even like I'm guilty. I mean, I even like yell at Renata. I'm sorry, not Renata. Celeste in season one and season two. Especially in season two, I'm like, Celeste, what are you doing? Why do you keep watching videos of your freaking husband? He beat you up, man. Why do you keep like reminiscing him, like missing him, and like, dude, you should be like dancing on the street naked right now. He's like, oh my god, I'm free, woohoo! Nobody would lay a hand on me anymore. But it's complicated, the emotions, the connection, the relationship that we have with the people that we share bed with, we share a home with, or we've grown to know for years. Like I said, we might bicker, argue, but deep down it's like, oh, it's complicated. It's complicated. That's why it's tough sometimes to get through to. And I'm not a psychologist, of course. I'm just saying that I'm from observation. When you see people like, why don't you just leave him, or why don't you just leave her? You know, he treats you bad or treats you, like shit, and they tell you their excuses, whatnot, right? And we, of course, from the outside, will be like, what? Now now you're just being dumb. Just go up and go. Sometimes it's just complicated, and I think that's what one of the things what I like about Big Little Lies is that it touches on that aspect. It's not black and white simple. Um, but I will give you also my thought about the overall season two. Now that it has come to an end, um, do I still think that they should have left season one, as a limited series? Do I still think that there should not have been a follow up? Remember, I told you like, why do you have to make season two? There's no need. It could have been just a standalone. As much as I love Meryl Streep and I want to watch Meryl Streep in anything I see, um, It's like season one was good as it was. Why? Okay. So do I still think that? I think I want to say my opinion of that has evolved. Um, I think there is some good now having season two. There is, or there has been some good to um, to present the next phase of that story, or the next side of that coin. Um, I think what was presented in season two was okay. It still to me doesn't compare to season one, but still, the idea of holy smokes, the repercussion, is like okay, um, the whole Kramer versus Kramer ordeal thing that's going on in season two. I think to a certain extent is necessary. I think it's like okay, I guess we kind of do need to see that side. Um, so again, but still doesn't really come superior next to, of course, compared to season one. So yeah, my opinion of that has definitely evolved. Um, Also, before I end this review, I also want to comment real quick on Renata because the storyline for Renata has cracked me up. She cracked me up in season one, but she cracked me up even more in season two. And in the conclusion tonight, she destroyed her husband's train set, which is funny because her husband, I guess, sold the train set collection to somebody, but he gets to keep the train set collection. It's the weirdest deal ever. Um, but yeah, Renata just had it up to here with her husband, after he lost all their money, and she took a bat and just smashed that whole thing. And I tweeted like, okay, Renata destroying her husband's train set was long overdue. Okay, that was long overdue, man. And I'm sure for Renata, doing that for her must have felt for her as relieving, or like, what's the word I'm looking for here? I'm sorry, English is my second language. It must have felt very satisfying, or as satisfying, like a relief for her, just as it is for Ed when he's boxing that punching bag. It's the same equivalence, I think, in my opinion. Hey, but you know what? I think it's a pretty healthy channeling. It's granted though, I think her husband kind of got hurt in the process. I think Renata inadvertently kind of accidentally kind of, I think if I'm not mistaken, accidentally, not unpurposely, hit her husband in the process. But the whole act of like bah, bah, it's like just like, oh, it's like Renata telling her husband and the world, like, you know what, enough is enough. And Ed doing that punching bag. I don't know if she. I don't know if he. I don't know if he imagined that punching bag to be um, Maddie, just like Maddie asked him. Like, but as a guy who used to be an avid uh, gym rat, I used to go to the gym like crazy, working out. Let me tell you that does help. There were days when I was stressed, when I was pissed off, when I wanted to lash out on somebody, instead of doing that, because sometimes people, when they bottle up their anger, and then they just explode onto somebody else's face, even though that somebody doesn't have anything to do with you, um, and that's not good. So uh, talk it out to a shrink, or somebody you can confide in, or hit the gym, punch the bag. It did wonders for me. I don't think it's any different for Ed. It's sweet, the whole thing with the renewing of the vow. I don't really have much thought about that. The way that whole Maddie and Ed story concludes, it's just, it's not, you know, it's secondary. You know, it's secondary to what is the larger picture, which is Celeste versus Mary Louise. Even Bonnie, the whole thing too with her mother. That it's like, okay, we get it. Um, they need to have a story. You know, the Monterey Five. They're all equal footing, supporting characters. So you got to give them each of them arc. But the main event is that courtroom drama. And so it's not a curveball. The verdict. I'm happy that the kids stay with Celeste, but I'm even happier that the writers put in that the whole juxtaposition moments thing between the kids hugging their grandma and Bonnie, um, hugging her loved ones, and of course she also confronts her husband, she confesses that she's not in love with him. So yeah, I see that it was necessary. The season, is it as good or better than season one? I wouldn't say that. Now, tonight's episode does end with a pretty interesting, unexpected turn. Remember, I said that earlier. So the curveball doesn't happen in the courtroom. It doesn't happen, with the verdict. But the Monterey Five at the end, they walk calmly to the police station. So I'm assuming that they are walking in there to confess. So, and you know what? If that is the case, I'm glad that we don't see it. Okay? I think we need to end Big Little Lies right there. We don't need to renew it for season 3. There's no need for like, oh my god, I want to see, what they say to that lady cop. Like, oh, can we have season 3, please? No, I'm not. I'm not at that place. I don't think I ever will be in that place. No. Um, I think that ambiguous ending says a lot, and it's nicely done. Um, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah, open to interpretation. Like, oh, now you keep wondering. I don't think the whole walking into the police station is as troublesome of ambiguity as Sopranos ending. Remember that Sopranos when they're in the dining room and you're like wondering, oh my god, are they gonna get whacked? Some mafias like start shooting up the restaurant. That one, was good for Sopranos. That whole setup. Um, and this one is good for Big Little Lies. We don't need to see like what happens in that freaking police station. I think that's a pretty appropriate, ambiguous ending for Big Little Lies. And lastly, I forgot to mention in my note here, um, what Celeste says to Maddie, the lie makes us, the lie connects us. Whatever we call ourselves, Monterey Five or whatever, it's the lie that connects us. There's something sweet and kind of messed up about that statement, but it's pretty much it it says, or it speaks to the underlying thread of the whole show. Big Little Lies. That is what connects these ladies at the very end. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the show. I don't think there should be any season 3. I'm glad that it's only 7 episodes. That there are only 7 episodes this season. I'm sad that the director Andrea Arnold, as you probably already know, that whatever her vision that she had, or whatever she directed, whatever she made with the on the set with these lovely ladies, I'm sad that has been hijacked by a producer David A. Kelly and HBO and season 1 director Jean-Marc Vallis. I'm saddened by that. I feel, when I see the credit directed by Andrea Arnold, in opening credit of tonight's episode, that kind of like, I feel like, oh, that sucks, man. As a fan, it's like, oh, you're just like rubbing it in. Why do you just say directed by Jean-Marc Valley, or like, oh, revamped by Jean-Marc Valley? It seems insulting to Andrea Arnold just to have that credit still, because we know now what happened. With the additional photography or additional shootings and additional filmings. I'm sorry, that Jean-Marc Valley is pretty much, redid a big thing, a big chunk to make season 2 look like season 1, exactly like his work. So it is sad. It is sad what happened behind the scenes on the set with director Andre Arnold and David E. Kelly and Jean-Marc Valley and HBO. But putting that aside, I think the story comes to a unnecessary conclusion that does not need a season 3, in my opinion. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've watched tonight's Big Little Lies season 2 finale, do you agree or disagree with my assessment? Um, did you also have the same correct prediction as I did when I made that prediction last week regarding the what Celeste was gonna do to Mayor Louise, on that stand in the courtroom, or did you have your prediction wrong? Let me know your thoughts about tonight's season finale in the comment section down below. And as always, subscribe to my channel, press that like button, ring that bell, and if you can help support this channel, please, please, please do so at patreon.com/Rama Screen. Let's rock this.